Hi, Prof. I'm going to explain the part I have developed, which is the crowdedness analysis. So how do I develop this part? The very first step is to simulate the data. I use both Python simulator and R simulator. For Python simulator, it's quite simple. You just call the Firebase package and simulate the data here, and you post them to the database you want. But what I did here is I use the R simulator. To simulate the data, I also use Python to randomly generate the data first, then I export them into the JSON format. So you can see this is a JSON file that I have. So in the R environment, I will read this JSON file and use the post method to post to my own database, and yeah, in that way the raw data is generated. The next step is to explain how do I come out all these UI parts. So you can see there's a tab panel and also two sub panels. The tab panel is quite simple, just add one line of the code. But for the sub panel here, I did something. So we go back to the code and go to the line 654. We go to the line 654. Okay, so what I did here is I assign another render UI function to the top panel. So in this function, there's a tab set panel function where I develop two sub panels. One of them is the real-time crowdedness. You notice that I also use a fluid row function to make the plot nicer and can squeeze into one row. And another tab panel is the historical crowdedness. As you can see, these are all the sidebar panel I have developed. The checkbox and all those is reflected here. Yeah, as you can see. So this is also quite simple, the UI part. Now I'm going to explain how do I develop this histogram. So as I explained before, the database has been simulated. So the very first step is to load the data. We go to the line 99. Okay. So you can see I use the REST API, the get method, to get the JSON file and convert them into a data frame in the R environment. And wait, let's go to the line 864. Line 864. Okay, so I assign this data frame to a reactive value. The reason why I use reactive value because I have a refresh function. I have to make it a reactive type. So in the render plot function, I assign the time to the last row of the data because this is the latest data, the most updated one. I assigned at the time. So I filter the data in range, which is the which the data is 10 minutes ago. And then you can also see I prepare the I convert the data to a frequency table by using this function which I developed. The next step is quite important because as you can see here, for different crowdedness you have different colors. So how do I do this is I have a status. This is a list of true or false. So I will detect whether the frequency is too low and I'll assign it as either true or false. So I will combine these status into the ggplot to manually fill the color as the color you see here. Yeah, so this is what I did. And also I'm going to explain the refresh button here. So the refresh button is pretty simple. It's just nothing much but reload the data, so to make sure the data is the most updated. So I will test it here. You can see in the Lambda environment, I post this data. I push this data to my database. Okay, it's done. So I click the refresh button. And you can see the data has been updated, and you can also notice the time here has changed to the latest time, which is the 8:20. The next one is this line chart. As I click on different buses, you can take a look at the line chart of each buses. How do I did that? We go back to the code, and you can see I use some JavaScript to detect your x-axis in the plot. So according to the x-axis, I will know which bus you're clicking. So I will plot a line chart of these buses accordingly, also using the ggplot. Yeah, and also the last function is the historical crowdedness. So you can select the time range and also select the bus you want here and click plot, and it will come out. So how do I do this? We go back to the code, which is the line 980. It's here. So I will read the start time and end time, and also I have a warning message here to make sure your time range is absolutely correct. Then I will filter the data according to your time range, and also I will detect the bus number you have clicked, and I all combine them into this final data. So as you have this final data, it's very simple now. You can just call the ggplot to plot this final data of the line chart. And yeah, this is just the last line of the code. And that's all. Yeah, thank you very much.